welcome to the build. As many of you guys have requested, for the PvP guide for the archer build, the sniper build that I have been giving out to some of our newer players and to the archer team that we're setting up for Cyrodiil and IC. Every time we have a new player join the guild, they send me a message and they're like, hey, I've heard about the archer build, please send me all the details, and then I have to write or copy 6 paragraphs and send it to them. So we're just going to make a video, post it on YouTube, and then I can send it to you guys and you can see how the build works. I can teach you the rotation, all the skills, how I set up my bars, and I don't have to sit with you for 30 minutes and explain all of it. So a couple disclaimers. This is not my original build. This is a mix of a couple different YouTubers and people that I know in the PvP community that I have kind of stolen the way that they build theirs and how they do it. I saw Allcast's build with the Archer's Mind and the Marksman, and I just didn't really enjoy it. I chose to do a bit of a different route. None of this information is mine. I take no credit for it. Similarly, the rotation that I'm using is from one of the YouTube guys that I follow that I really like the way he does his rotation, so not my property, didn't make this, no credit. Anyway, secondly, this is not a high skill cap build. This is for people who want to do a shit ton of damage in a really cheesy, kind of not skillful way. I have no pride about that at all. Some purists are like, I want to be the best player in the game, and I'm like, I just want to hit really fucking hard and kill people. So, first, let's talk about gear. Starting with stats, my magicka, stamina, and health. So this build is built to do one thing, which is damage. A lot of it. It's not built to sustain, it's not built to survive, it's built to hit really fucking hard. So, health, pretty low. It'll go up another 5k in PvP. My stamina is at 34k, which I like. Stam recovery could be a little higher. If you wanted to mess with it and get it higher, that's fine. I have a plan for how to fix that, so just hold on and I'll show you. So basically all I care about is max stam, weapon damage, and weapon crit. Everything else I don't really care that much about. So let's see. I'm wearing the warrior. All of my gear is divines. I'll explain that. And then I'm running dubious Cameron throne. There are other things that you could run if you want. You could run tri-stat. You could run something for more recovery. Totally up to you. I just run dubious Cameron because it's cheap and it works for what I'm trying to do. Next, gear. I run 5 pieces of automatons in medium. Automatons can be farmed out of dark shade. It is a really good set. Weapon damage for your physical damage abilities, which I'll get to in a minute, is buffed by 386 weapon damage, which is perfect for what I'm trying to do. The second set I wear is Spriggan's. I would say for the jewelry, I have it robust right now. If you wanted to min-max it, you could do infused weapon damage in enchants and glyphs, so this would bump it up probably another 300 weapon damage. I don't really care. It's too many transmutations for what I would call like my battleground fuck around build. So I've just left it robust. All weapon damage, you could easily do all max, all stamina recovery if you feel the need. I don't feel the need. My Spriggan's bow is Nirnhoned for more damage, and my Backbar, Spriggan's axe, doesn't matter, Spriggan's greatsword, whatever you want. The key is that it's a two-hander and that it's powered, which gives you more healing power on the Backbar. Your Backbar is literally just to buff up and heal and run away. It is not for damage, so feel free to run whatever you want on your Backbar. Just make sure that it's powered or something that helps you sustain. Defending would be a great choice here as well. Monster sets, 1 piece Kra'gh, 1 piece Molag Kena. I am running 7 pieces of medium armor for the buffs. You can totally run 511, 61, whatever you want. You could even run a piece of heavy on the chest for more armor. I don't really care. But for the Molag Kena, and this just gives spell penetration, physical penetration on the first one, and then weapon and spell damage. So I'm just getting what I need out of the sets. Don't really care for the monster set because you're going to be so far away from people when you're shooting them that it's not going to matter what your monster set does. Like, it's going to be way out of range. So that's my sets. I'll run through these because I hate when YouTubers do this, and they don't give me a chance to pause and look at what they got. Alright, so now let's talk bar setup. For me, I run all of my passives on all of my original class, and then just the base, like the basics of what I need. For weapons, I only run focused aim, no other abilities, but all the passives for just damage and whatever. Two-handed, I don't run any of the passives. You could, technically, if you want to reduce the cost by 7% here, would be worth. Just look at which ones apply to what you do. So like, light and heavy attacks damage up to 3 extra enemies. I don't need that, because I'm not using this bar to attack anything. So I save the skill points and don't buy that. Full passives for medium armor, obviously. If I had Undaunted passives unlocked, I would do Undaunted Metal. It's great if you have it. I don't do PvE enough to have that. One thing you will need is Channeled Acceleration from the Psijic Order. I have a couple Psijic things just for the sake of. And then this build operates primarily on Fighters Guild passives. So, Slayer gives weapon damage by 3% for each Fighters Guild ability slotted. You'll notice that this is my main damage, this is my combo, and this is the mark, and then this, and this just are there to buff my weapon damage. I still use these are all important, but they're all from the Fighters Guild tree in order to give myself more weapon damage. So make sure you have this, make sure you have this all unlocked. You could do a different Dawnbreaker if you want. I just use Flawless, I'll explain that in a sec. And yeah, so let's go through how I set up my bar. So for my bar setup, let me get in front of a dummy real quick. For my bar setup, the way that I like to run it, stupid thing is loud. So this is my front bar, my Spriggan's bow. I use focused aim, silver shards, piercing mark. There's another morph of the mark. They're both very viable, very good. Just depends on what you want to do. I prefer piercing. You can look at the other one and see what you want your mark to do, and then use whichever one you prefer. Definitely a good ability either way, because it takes off that player's physical resist and spell resist, and then your Spriggans will also help, along with your Kra'ghs, will help penetrate whatever resistance they have left. Camouflage Hunter, necessity for both pulling people out of stealth and also major savagery, and minor berserk after you cast it. So this is just a buff bar slash pull people out of stealth slash keep this on your bar for the buff and for the Slayer from Fighters Guild, and then turn evil. Just a fear to add to our damage to our damage done based on the Slayer, and the fact that it's super useful in every situation, pretty much. Increase your stamina recovery by 10%. All of this is super useful. And the only buttons you'll really be using are these three right here. So these three are just for buffing yourself or having that on your bar for extra weapon damage and stuff like that. So Flawless Dawnbreaker, you can use the other morph of Dawnbreaker. Both of them will buff, doesn't matter. I use this one because after activation your weapon damage is increased by 300 points for 18 seconds. So if I know I'm about to take on a whole team that's standing on an objective and I'm far away and my Dawnbreaker is up, I'll pop my Dawnbreaker just to buff myself with this, so that the next 18 seconds I'm putting out even more damage. Sometimes this animation doesn't even hit. I don't really get close enough to use it ever. So I have this on the front bar, Ballista on the back bar. If you have your ult up, this is a little bit more expensive. Ballista, when you use it, will deal 53,000 over 5 seconds, which is insane. But the Ballista will spawn, and then if you die, the Ballista keeps firing. So if you're about to die, obviously this is my defensive bar. If I'm about to die, I can pop Ballista on an enemy that is low health also. Even if I die, the Ballista will still shoot him. Usually I'll get a kill out of it, and it pisses people off. It makes me laugh. So, for our main rotation, focused aim is your bread and butter. This build is so easy. A fucking idiot could do it. That's why I like giving it to people who are really bad at PvP or who just don't understand the mechanics yet. It gets them in the door, gets them in battlegrounds, gets them seeing how positioning works, gets them actually killing people, having fun, and then hopefully as time progresses they'll be like, I want to do something a little bit less monotonous, and then they go build something else. But 2094 stamina is insanely low for something that hits for 11k physical damage. After the coming patch, physical damage is going to be where it's at because dot damage is getting nerfed into the dirt. Bless, because I'm primarily a healer, so I like when they nerf the fuck out of damage, but this is not getting nerfed. Also includes minor fracture, which is great too. I use this for 90% of my abilities. This is all I do. Silver Shards is significantly less range, still very inexpensive. It is an instant cast ability, so when I hit this, as soon as this pops off, I can cast this and it'll go off like this. So if I cast, I can do both at the same time. See that? I'm just hitting 1, 2, and they both hit together. So when I'm weaving, this is a great thing to be at mid-range, and if I'm close enough, this weave will be really powerful. 3 is Piercing Mark. You should have Piercing Mark on whatever target is most valuable to you. If it's a 1v1, Piercing Mark should be up. They can purge this off, just keep hitting them with it. It doesn't cost anything. It removes their physical and spell resist by a shit ton, makes them impossible to go invisible. All sorts of like benefits to having this up. I would say I probably have this up about half the time because this kills people so fast. I don't have time to think, oh, throw the Piercing Mark. But if you're hitting a target that's tanky, feel free. This pull people out of stealth, whatever you want to do, and this is a AoE fear, which is super useful. Feel free to use that. Flawless Dawnbreaker, like I explained before, I'm only using if I want to buff myself or if someone's up in my face. I can pop Dawnbreaker on them, a little bit of dot pressure to get them off me. Most of the time that doesn't work. I'll be switching to Ballista and trying to get that to kill them. On my Backbar. Every engagement, every time I go into a fight, I buff with Rally, buff with a Channeled Acceleration, which is a cast time, so you kind of want to do that as you're walking in, and then get Siphoning on, Leeching Strikes on for the increased stamina. Vigor you can use to spam if you want to. Right now the Rally buff, like when you use Rally, it hits for a really big heal. That's great. After you used it once, it's a little bit less of a heal. But with our weapon damage, it still heals like a truck, so that's awesome. Vigor's cool too. If you want to dot yourself up and then and then Rally spam, a lot of healing. And then Shadowy Disguise, I can probably get 2 or 3 of these off. Yeah, like 3 at max. So that's only if you want to get up to an objective, you're about to walk up to the ball and pick it up. You could always stealth out, just give yourself a little bit of an element of surprise. Won't work for very long. So, let's talk about rotation real quick. So I'm going to fight somebody. Say this is my target right here. Usually you want to be as far away as you can. One, because that person cannot get to you. Your range on the snipe ability is 40 meters, plus you get an extra, I think it's 5 or 8 for being in a PvP zone. So 48 meters away I can hit you, which is pretty much half the freaking arena for most. Like, if I'm up here, I can hit you where that. Let me see where this range is. So I can hit him all the way down there, and that's not even as far as my range goes. Craziness. So feel free to use the range to your advantage because you have a passive in your bow tree that makes it so that you do 12% more damage against enemies at longer range. So by all means use that range, hit harder. So if I am about to fight somebody, I won't even do stealth, but I'm going to buff up. This should be up for every fight. I'm going to do 1, 2, weave a light, and then that. Usually, two snipes, a weaved light attack, and the silver shards will kill 90% of people. Especially if they have the mark on, and they're probably already fighting someone else, and you're third partying the fight. That is brokenly overpowered for most people. If they're at half health, they're dead. You have to be at full health and blocking to not die. That's the combo. So 1, 2, spam light attack, all that. huge numbers. I've hit people with one snipe for 10k, I've hit one people for 12k. It's an insane amount of damage, especially in no CP where people don't have the resistance in their CP pool to stop you. So, that is your combo. 1-1, light attack 2. And it works like a charm. Even if you don't crit on any of them, you're still hitting for like 40k in like a second and a half. As far as Camouflage Hunter, you could even, if you wanted, if I get my ultimate up real quick. There you go. So, normal hits for 12k, 18k crit with that bonus. 19k crit because I have the bonus on from the Dawnbreaker passive. So, super broken, insanely good, super fun to play. As far as what I use for potions and food, I've already talked about the Dubious Cameron. I use immovability potions because I like to be able to get out of fights. If someone's up in my face, I'm usually trying to fear them, get my buffs up, try and get everything. Hopefully all these are up already. I'm Vigor spam once, start throwing rally, try and stealth out, and then my immovability potions make it so they can't snare me, and that's the goal. You can easily use tri-stat potions if you want to hit even harder. You could use weapon damage potions with stamina on them. The key is to be able to regenerate stamina with potions because the regen on this build is not fantastic. Buffed, it's at 1500, but still it could be higher. I would also say that if you can get the Psijic Order Meditate is probably the only thing that I'm missing that I would say would really help the build. So if you are in a battleground, you're going to be killing people from super far away. As soon as you kill them, you exit combat because you're so far away there's no other enemies around you. And then you can pop a Meditate and you would be set because your stamina regeneration would be insane with Meditate up. I would probably move Shadowy Disguise off and use Meditate on my Backbar so I could buff up, throw Meditate on, get all my stamina back, and go back to killing entire teams with this. So if you're down to run the Psijic Order, I'm not. If you want to do the whole quest line, Meditate is key. Super cool. I have it on another character. I just am not willing to do it again. But highly recommend that. And yeah, that's basically the build. Automatons, Spriggans, Kra'gh, Molag Kena. I would suggest the Kra'gh helmet because that one's easier to get in PvE, and this is easier to draw for. If you want to go do White Gold Tower on Vet, feel free. I'm not down. So Kra'gh on the head and Kena on the shoulders. And that's basically it. For you new guys that have not done this yet, I highly recommend starting with this build, working your way up to something more challenging, just because this will give you the opportunity to get in Battlegrounds and win. Especially in Deathmatch, you'll be pulling like 10 or 12 kills a game. On a good day, you'll be pulling 20 kills a game, and people won't know what's hitting them because they're just like, dude, I just died instantly. Big open maps are super awesome for this, so go out, have fun. If you guys have questions about the build or you want to see my other builds for more in-depth, kind of more difficult content, or for healing, for anything, just hit me up in Discord and I can make more videos showing you basically what I'm wearing for any of my characters that I'm really enjoying. Magplar especially is super good. I'm enjoying the hell out of that. Anyway, credit to Rabbit Insomnia on YouTube for the initial build, I'm pretty sure. A couple other guys, Christopher ESO, and just it's like a mix of like 3 or 4 different YouTubers builds. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will be posting more of these if there's a request for them. So thanks, guys. I'll catch you later.